Good morning. I'm trying to stay quiet. It's 5:30. This is Tuesday morning. On Friday, I was working at my desk when in the corner, well, I should have grabbed my grip for this. So, Friday morning, I'm there working. I'm getting programming done. I'm doing my software training. And I see something drop. And I don't know what it is, but my immediate thought coming down off the back wall is, oh, it's a bug. It was extremely cold last week. Temperatures dropped below zero, and then the wind dropped them even further into like the -20s, so I'm not entirely surprised. But I grabbed a flashlight and I went and looked, and I saw a little mouse going across the back wall. Not that little. It's fairly big. And I went, uh-oh, that makes sense. We got several inches of snow on the ground, and they're just trying to get inside for the warmth. So we did what we could in getting traps for over the weekend, which the local stores only had kill traps, and there's no reason to kill a mouse. That's just ridiculous to me. So we purchased them on Amazon, which came in, and I set them up last night. We'd had no luck over the last few days, but we did have the peanut butter getting eaten out of them. What they had were bigger traps that for much larger rodents, so the mice weren't actually triggering them. But now the one I saw was decently sized, not quite hamster, but bigger than a gerbil. However, what I've just seen here is much smaller. I'm going to turn down the light. So, with that in mind, I don't quite have time before I clock in, but I need to drive him out somewhere further away from the city and let him go. I'm going to just put some food through the vent holes, I think, for now, and then drop him off later today. It'll be alright. We can't have mice. They'll eat stuff down here, and if the cat actually does get a hold of one, when it happened on Friday, the cat was sleeping in her cat cube that's down here now, so that she's got a place to be when I'm downstairs, because otherwise she would mostly stay upstairs while I worked. Ran right past her. Didn't notice, didn't care. But I don't want to take the chance of her actually getting one and either killing it or, causing problems. It could be disease or something like that, so we're not interested in doing that. I take a drive out and drop off the little mouse. And then I guess set the traps back up, because that is much smaller than the one I saw, which is concerning that there are more than one. I guess I'll just keep setting up traps and keep getting them and taking them outside. If the one that I saw that was bigger, I guess I'll look and see what mice look like when they're first born to see how old that one could be. It's very small. Oh, it's so cute. It's making little noises. A slight change of plans. Before work, I'm just going to go drop them off at the state park. It's not too far away. About a 10-minute drive. I'll be a little late for work, but that'll be okay because it's not a requirement. We have fairly flexible things, so I'm not going to get in trouble, and I'll just make it up tonight. But he's clearly scared and trying to get out of there and, scratching at the sides of the trap. I'd just rather go let him go real quick. It won't take very long. So, here we are, one short drive later, a few minutes later. I don't know if it's going to want to focus or not. Come on now. There we go. Anyway, I gotta move outside. I put the trap into a little cardboard box, just so that it wasn't out in the open doing that. I've gone to the park here. I'm gonna set up the camera to watch him walk away here in the grass. Forgotten how to unlock my car. I can't unlock it while the door is open. Alright, cool. Okay, I realize you can't see this, so let's see here. Do have a little guy here in a little trap. Okay, you just stay at that end, and I'll just go ahead and open it up from this one. And put you down on the ground and let you go. My camera has fallen over. Cool. Probably because I've pointed it downward. I'll just step on the tripod here. Okay. Come on now. Open. The trap is not the easiest thing to open. There we go. All right. All right, come on. Come on, little guy. There we go. And gone. Just like that. I don't know if I'll be doing more of these. I guess it depends on how many mice are in my apartment. That works. I do have to turn off the light. I can't have that on while I'm driving. Where is the switch? There it is. Okay, so it'll be dark until I get back into the light stuff, but it's about as good as it can get. I can do a little bit of talking here while I drive back. I do need to get to work. But it's just time at the end of the day, which is fine. I had a thought, and that's what I'm looking for right now, is where I wrote it down. Okay. So, my thought was, quite simply, and I've done this recently in the last episode, or, vlog or two. I went to the state park, which I am so fond of, which I have not been back to in a while because they changed their winter hours to be 8 a.m. and by that point the sun has already risen, so it's not as useful. But I did not go past the gates and everything. I just went right at the entrance where they've got a turnaround spot right there on the grass to let the little mouse go. Thankfully, it has warmed up considerably over the last few days. Like I said last week, it was temperatures in the teens or below zeros, and the wind made it even worse, and we got a pretty decent amount of snow, probably 6 to 8 inches. I didn't go out and measure it this time. I guess that shows I'm starting to get used to it, is when the snow doesn't excite me. It's like, oh, let's go measure it, let's see how much we got, because back in Georgia, if we got snow, which was not that often, maybe once a year, it would be light dustings and very, very light, and then once in a while get a big old snowstorm that shuts down the entire city. But anyway,
Yes, we did get some snow over the last few days. It kept me from going out the weekend before. This weekend I thought about it, but it was going to be cloudy, which already is a little bit of a ding against it, but not too bad. I can work with that, and I can just, bump up the cameras to deal with that. The second part of it is that it was like 8 degrees. Like Saturday seemed like a good day to do it it was going to be partly cloudy as opposed to full cloudy. And Saturday was 8 degrees when I woke up, and the wind chill made it feel below 0. And that's just not, I don't want to go out in that. I'm just going to be cold and miserable the whole time. So instead, I stayed inside and played a brand new video game called Elden Ring, which is amazing. And I did that for the entire weekend, and I think I've played like 32 hours over the last 3 days. So that's what I did for the majority of the weekend. I still made time every morning to make sure I was doing things like cooking all my food for the week, or doing my contract work on the photography side of things so I could still get paid. But for the majority of it, it was playing that video game. So I do hope to get out again this weekend. Looking at the forecast currently, it says it's going to be warmer this week. We'll have a lot more sun that will melt the remaining snow. There's not too much of it out here now, thankfully. Which will make it easier to get out if it's the warm weather is a bit warmer. And then I saw on Saturday it's predicting snow again, so we'll see. Who knows at this point with that? But anyway, I did think about these videos of just less wildlife related, which is what I've been doing the last time I went out. Maybe the last 2 times, I can't remember exactly at this point. I've split them off into just like, hey, I'm good. Hey, I'm doing wildlife. Let's go see where, talk about the place a little bit, do that, and then cut that, and then start a different video, which is just the personal talking kind of thing. And I was like, oh, well, I could come up with a title for those because I name them when I name my files and when I'm exporting, and I've got my timelines and all the editing stuff. And I was like, I could think of it that way and share that, and that's just how, that I could title them and give them something. And I started thinking about what would make sense. And I believe I started a video a few weeks ago that way, going, oh, well, nothing is really catchy like Wildlife with Michael doesn't, because it's not, my name isn't Michael. But anyway, I thought of one. I was like, I'm really interested in birds. I typically go out. That's the majority of what I see is birds on most given days. I could think of something related to birds, so I did a Google search and I looked up what are the terms of the noises a bird makes, right? Because there's a lot of different terms for things. You can't use tweet in any way because of Twitter, but something along those lines, right? And I came up with one that I think you'll agree is the perfect name for something that is just more of an off-the-cuff rambling almost, of just a free stream of thoughts, conscience thing. The Chirp and Chatter, which I think you'll agree is the perfect name. And that's why the Audubon Society already has that. And they make it's a newsletter that comes out. I don't remember if I subscribed to it. I saw it and I went, oh, well, that makes sense. Of course it's already taken by someone else. So I looked up other terms and I went, it's similar, but I could find something that is not already in use by someone else where it's going to cause, make it seem like I'm copying off of someone else. I do at least try to be aware of that when I'm doing, especially when it comes to naming things, so that you don't get confused or look like you're trying to steal someone else's idea. But the cheep and chitter, those are things that are used. Those are still, that's not in use by anyone up until now. This will, I guess, be the first one. I Googled and I didn't see anything at the very least. So now that typically is only going to search English websites, but I don't know how to translate chip and cheep. Cheep, birds will cheep and they chitter. The cheep and chitter. So, welcome back to that, where I just do more of the talking about things, such as the video games I've been playing or what's going on outside of the wildlife thing. And trying to remember where the road... I haven't been out in a bit, so I don't know where. They've been doing construction all along this road, but I don't know at what point, if they've extended it further back. They tore down a whole bridge in town. And there's the speed limit drop. Okay. As we get closer, it drops back to city speeds, and then drops even further when you get to construction speeds. But anyway, yes, we rescued a mouse today. Hopefully it lives a much longer life than it would inside of my apartment. And since that was not the one I saw, I will continue doing this and see what else. I guess this will just become part of the routine for a while until the traps stay empty for a bit, but we'll see how many are running through the apartment. The apartments are not entirely sealed. It is a collection of buildings. They're kind of townhouses, and that's where I was looking to see. I kind of talked about it, but I can be louder here since I'm in the car, and I'm not in a basement at 5:30 in the morning where my neighbors may also be disturbed by me talking. I was sitting out there at the computer, programming, doing the software training, and just right out of the corner of the room behind where my computers are set was the dark shape that just suddenly dropped and made me think, oh, it's a bug. But I grabbed the flashlight and I went and I looked, and what I saw definitely was a mouse. I absolutely saw one, but it was bigger than that, much bigger than that little one that I just saw. Now, checking with my significant other, she has more knowledge on it, said that is not a baby mouse because they wouldn't have all their fur yet. And so even though I saw a bigger one, it didn't look pregnant. I don't know what a pregnant mouse looks like. I just imagine what pregnant guinea pigs look like, because I certainly know what that looks like from my childhood. But I imagine it to be, thicker in the baby making section. That's a weird way to phrase that. Jesus. So I didn't. What I saw was definitely one that was bigger than that. Probably 3 or 4 inches, the actual mouse before the tail. Definitely of a larger size, but not what I'm thinking. Not pregnant, made it inside to give birth, and just gave birth in my apartment, and there are tons of little baby mice all over the place. Not that, which is good, because that is not a 3-day-old or less mouse that we just released into the wild there. According to my significant other, they would not have grown that fast and had that much fur and be that fully developed. So unfortunately, that means that there's more mice somewhere in there. Now, I've never seen any evidence of it. I keep a pretty close eye on that kind of stuff because I don't want things getting chewed on. I especially have a fear of bugs, so I try to make sure that there's no food or anything, keep everything clean so I don't have to experience that. I've never seen any evidence of mice or bugs or any kind of critters of any kind, so that's good. This does remind me of a story that I don't know if I have time to tell because I'm almost home and I need to get back and clock in. So I will continue it when I take a break from work.
Forgot I have a few minutes here before I get clocked in. So, a few years ago, and by this I mean several years ago, maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6, longer, a good while ago. The time frame is not really important. What is important there is that I was working at a different company where I actually went in person and worked. And I happened to be sitting in the office for that company where I turn on my computer here. I was taking my lunch where I would sit at the computer for the department that I worked at in a small company that I worked for. Small-ish, like 20 people. And I took my lunch in that every day. Cleaned up after myself. Would throw food away in the trash can there, so I didn't think anything about it. So I'm sitting there eating lunch, and all of a sudden I hear a little rustling coming out of the trash can, which makes me go, I don't like that. Probably a bug, once again. My first reaction was not a bug, but I didn't know that. I immediately ran and got my big brother. Older brother, I'm bigger. And that's kind of the fun part, because regardless of what it was, I didn't know, and it was, if I thought a bug, my reaction is not, I'll handle this, I'll run away. Like a scaredy, which is what I did. And I went and I got my older brother and said, hey, I need you to come check this out, because I'm pretty sure there's a thing in the trash can. And so he goes and he looks in the trash can, and we're creeping up. This is a longer room, and I just remember us going up like one step at a time, very slowly, trying to peer into the trash can from as far away as we could. And as soon as he gets a look in there, he's like, whoop, and then we both book it out. We're grown-ass men. It was mice. It was little baby mice. Sometime, I don't know the time frame, but at some point, can we adjust the colors? My exposure here? At some point between the last time I had eaten in that room, I guess, and used that trash can, I don't know if it was over a weekend, a full-size mouse had gotten into that trash can. It was just a small, regular size, nothing super big or anything. Had baby mice, and then the grown-up got out of there and just left them in there. They were even smaller than what we just released, like little bitty puffball kind of thing. Eyes not quite fully open. That level of just itty bitty. And it was 3 of them, I want to say. I think it was 3 mice. They weren't blind, but their eyes were barely open, so almost 3 blind mice. Anyway, we took them outside and released them into the forest. I remember that quite well. I remember they were very cute. I remember thinking that they were very cute. And I remember we were releasing them. My brother pulled out his phone and started taking a video, and then, not thinking about it, I'm making noises in the background. So I've learned from that lesson for sure. That was many years before I started doing anything related to wildlife. And now I know. Shut up. Makes for a better video. Anyway. I gotta work now, so that's the end of this video. If there's any more footage from now throughout until I get this edited of mice being released, I will put that out. That's the light from my... Oh my. This thing doesn't do a great job of autofocusing. Not focus, auto exposure while it's going. Anyway, I have to clock in, I have to start working, and pay the bills. See y'all next time.